Great stuff.
And then up next, we have another album with no bad track.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the New Music Podcast. My name is Shiloh. I'm here with my co-host, Micah. That's him. That's him once again. And we're coming at you with probably our most exciting episode in quite some time.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for myself?
Yeah.
All right, bet. As far as I'm concerned...
Me too. I agree.
You agree? All right. I don't think we've had an episode this exciting since like our fourth one.
Is that one MGMT?
No. It was before that. And two of the albums that we really liked that week were like underground things that people weren't exactly hyped for. Other than that, I feel like there's been 1 to 2 albums every week that I've been hype on and like really wanting to talk about. But this week's packed, man. Like everything's exciting. You want to run through and tell them what those exciting albums are?
No.
All right, we'll do it anyways. How about that?
All right. Kicking it off, we have an EP with Maruja. It's spelled wrong.
I believe it's Maruja.
With Connla as well.
Indeed we do.
And then we have Swedish rapper Bladee with their new album Cold Visions, second one of the year.
Yes.
If you count the one with youngster Leanathy.
Jonathan Leandoer.
And then we have Just Ice with Hyperdrama.
Just Ice. Yes, sir.
And then we have St. Vinny's with All Born Screaming.
I don't know how niche of a reference that is.
Doesn't matter. Anyways.
Okay.
And then we have Full of Hell with Coagulated Bliss.
Indeed we do.
And then up next we have Can You Hear Me and What the Fuck?
What?
It was in the album list.
Oh, shit. I was typing in Discord and we got that at the end there. Because I sent a second and third message. So that's what we're yapping about. But while we're yapping, let's start yapping about our first project of the week with Maruja, Connla's Well.
Let me tell you the story of the invisible man. Forgotten himself. Change, I find the only way to play this game. We are stronger as a team, I'll say it time again. How we ever make defeat when we just rise again.
This was potentially my favorite drop, and it's like it was there's some heat this week, but it was an EP, so it's my highest rated of the week. But like I usually, it's an EP, you know.
Yeah, no, for an EP, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
this is like really, really great stuff. I can't really pick out any flaws with it. Let's kind of run through the sound here because I mean, this is some very progressive experimental rock thing going on here. And I think what they're doing definitely calls back to some of the other experimental rock stuff that I've heard, but it's pretty unique at the same time.
Would you reference Godspeed and Black Midi?
I don't know if I would touch on Godspeed just because I don't know if it's necessarily like ambient and droning enough for that. But maybe
it wasn't, but the opener led me on to that. I was like, oh, is this gonna be like Godspeed?
Yeah, maybe a little bit on the closing as well. But if we are gonna go in that direction, I think we're maybe looking at a little bit more like Swans because of how manic it is. Yeah. You take all the crazy experimental noise rock stuff of both the very modern era and kind of Black Country New Road with the way the vocals are presented as well. The almost spoken word nature of it at times.
Black Country New Road is the indie recommended for this artist on Apple Music.
I believe it. I feel like there's going to be massive crossovers, so if you're one of the many internet folks who are into Black Country New Road, then go ahead and take a bite out of this one because...
Leave Kanye out of this.
Yeah, it's like that, but like crazier. This shit's some like mental breakdown music. It's awesome.
For real, dude.
For real.
So good. Yummy.
So good. So nice on the ears. You got the like crazy saxophones hitting.
This is the year of the crazy saxophone man.
That's true. Yeah, because we had Drawla as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. Going in with some jazz on my art rock shit. Like, dude, hell yeah. Love that combo. Love that pairing. These guys really need to drop an album because both EPs have been fantastic. I don't know. Did you hear their first one?
No.
If you're not at all familiar with their first EP, it is pretty similar along some similar lines. I do think I prefer this one, and that's saying quite a bit because the last one was definitely my favorite EP I heard last year, I think.
It looks like they have 5 EPs.
What? No, you're joking.
Nope, they have 5 EPs. It looks like this is the second one in a series because it's like the black and white photo.
Oh yeah,
the shenanigans going on. It looks like the era started in 2022 with it started in 2020 with the single Rage potentially, but 2022 it looks like they picked it up a lot. Oh yeah, that's right when COVID happened. So they decided they're like, oh, COVID happened. Let's make Swans, but not old. it's like Swans now.
It's like kind of modern Swans.
Yeah. That's so good. Because I'm like, they're not better or worse than Swans.
No, just like modernized.
King Cruel is listed as a similar artist.
That ain't right. Wrong.
Glass Beach is in here, and so is Geese, and I'm like, I guess I'll allow it.
Sure, why not? But I'm trying to figure out, because I'm looking at what you're looking at now. I assume you're looking at the album of the year page. And the 3 EPs that come before this, I'm almost wondering if they're a different band. Because you go from literally no ratings to 3,456 ratings. Like, there's something.
Oh, maybe someone added them. Who added them?
Yeah, somebody might have added a different band's EPs that has the same name.
No, the person who added them, I've like seen their reviews quite a bit.
I don't know. Weird. Maybe it's just like some old unreleased stuff that just like went heard recently. I don't know the lore, unfortunately, but I feel like these 2 recent EPs are like the canonical ones that you need to be concerned about.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, definitely. Because they follow the same aesthetic with these like vintage photographs and everything like that. So kind of seems like at least once they started this new era, this is totally the direction they're going. Great album cover also as well. I feel like it really represents some of the lyrical themes with this one kid from the group being like outcasted and walking away all sad. Does kind of feel like the lyrical themes of The Invisible Man for sure. And then yeah, Zeitgeist just kind of follows that one up. One Hand Behind the Devil is insane. That track's crazy. I think The Invisible Man is my favorite of the 3.
I was gonna say The Invisible Man's my favorite.
My weird thing that I'm about to say, my really extremely strange take on this is that the instrumental track at the end is actually my favorite track, though.
I don't think that's too out of pocket.
I think that shit's like super good. Like, I really love how it sounds.
I do too, but I like The Invisible Man a little more. But looking at album of the year, the outro, I guess, has a 90. That's the second highest rated track.
You know, I'm just now seeing that, and wow, that kind of restores my faith in people rating things a little bit. Like, every once in a while I see something like that, and that makes me really happy, because a lot of the times, like intros, outros, kind of like instrumental stuff, people just rate it low for the sake of rating it low, because it's like not a real song, quote unquote.
I feel like that's not fair.
It's like one of the best sounding instrumental tracks I've ever heard.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, and like this post-punk, whatever, art, rock space in general, like, dude, this is rivaling some of the stuff that Godspeed has done, if we want to bring up that comparison, since they're mostly an instrumental band. It's crazy, dude. These guys have so much potential. We're getting 10 out of 10 album from these guys if they drop an album, I feel like.
New Godspeed drop?
Yeah. the new and improved DLC. No, that is really the cool thing about this, though. It's like you can can very clearly see the influences and see where they're coming from, but they're doing something new and interesting with it. I think a lot of people just try to piggyback off of that sound and just kind of do it again, but these guys seem like fresh and interesting with it.
Yeah, this is their interpretation of it versus a piggyback.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Feels original still, and super fresh, sounds excellent, super well produced and mixed album as well. Like, all the sounds are crispy as hell. I have a hard time bringing up anything to critique here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Yeah.
I ended up giving it a 93 out of 100.
I gave it a 96.
I was considering giving it higher, but I felt like 93 was fair.
It is fair.
Because it's also the same rating I gave the Turnabout EP.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think that is actually what I gave the Turnabout EP. I think this is potentially better than that.
Yeah, but I still stand by Turnabout's score just because of the genre that I'm comparing it to.
Right, yeah.
Yes, this is better, but I'm also comparing it to some of the best music ever made.
Yeah, it's totally like an apples and oranges situation. Like,
Yeah.
you can't really compare these things at all, but still, like, maybe the top EP of the year, even though there has been some absolute bangers of EPs this year.
This is my top EP of the year.
I think it's mine as well, and I don't think there's a lot of strong competition, and I don't honestly feel like there will be.
Yeah, the closest thing I have, I'm gonna go look for this year. My next highest rated EP was Puzzle Teeth.
Oh, nice, yeah. Puzzle Teeth was also great.
Besides Turnabout, of course.
Yeah, we got some bangers in the EP department, some new up-and-coming artists. And these guys are one of them, and this is so worth your time. Like, 21 minutes, dude, no time investment. All of it sounds awesome.
Listen to it 3 times in a row.
I've done that. This has been one of the albums from this week that I've replayed a ton.
I want you to know that this is my first time listening to this, and I actually delayed you even longer because I was just listening to it again.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It takes a little bit to sink in with how awesome it is. I feel like it's very striking immediately, but then it grows on you. So, I mean,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. Awesome stuff.
I think we've said our piece on
Yeah, definitely.
no bad tracks.
No bad tracks. A 94.5% score between the two of us. One of the strongest recommendations we've given on here so far, I think.
For real.
Yeah, great stuff.
And then up next, we have another album with no bad tracks, Bladee, Cold Visions.
Wake up, filthy.
Not many brain cells left, but I'm ready for
I'm depressed, asbestos. I don't like people. I don't like people. I don't like people. I really don't like people.
Yes. Oh my god. I'm so glad you said that. Bladee went 30 for 30 at age 30. Fuck yeah. This shit's incredible.
There's like 2 interludes in here I get.
Who cares, man? Fuck it. They're great.
Oh, dude, why does Wad Rainer have a 72? I feel like that's a little criminal.
Oh god, really? I don't know, man.
I like Shrek.
This is criminally underrated. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. The fact that it lost the Orange Star, the user score must hear, on Album of the Year is sad to me.
Sputnik is on meth, and Pitchfork is spot on again. Once again, Pitchfork is spot on.
Sputnik just hasn't become drained. Like, this is the thing, dude. Over the past week, I've gone through Blade's discography, and I've gotten it. It's clicked a little bit more with me than it ever has. I really liked The Fool. Obviously, I liked Psychos earlier this year as well. That was a super great album, one of my favorites of the year, and that was part of the reason that this whole thing clicked for me. But that one actually kind of catered to my taste a little bit more. This is something entirely different, but like the Drain Gang sound, I've been getting more accustomed to it than I ever have been over the last week, and then I ended it off listening to this, and I think this is my favorite Blade project and my favorite Drain Gang project in general. This shit's insane, dude.
I will say, so I'm not huge into the Drain game yet, but like honestly, even with this album being 30 tracks and an hour long, I didn't feel lethargy,
Fatigued.
lethargy.
We'll go with
Yeah,
fatigue.
yeah. I didn't feel the album fatigue I was feeling from long albums I've complained about in the past.
Me either.
Because this album was good.
It's so good.
Also, it still has a lot of room to grow on me. It hasn't quite clicked. Like, you remember how long 100 gex took to click for me?
I don't remember that. I thought you kind of liked them right away, but either way, that's been years.
I liked a couple songs right away, but it took a good minute to actually click, and then it clicked and we had a show the next day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This is still like a little bit of a slow burn on me.
Mm-hmm.
I also keep seeing reviews saying that they don't want Bladee to be a rager, and I don't know enough about Rage to know what the fuck anyone is talking about.
Okay, so basically the main artist that you're going to be looking at with Rage is Playboi Carti, okay? People are saying that this is the... People are saying that this is the Drain Gang Whole Lotta Red, alright?
Wasn't Whole Lotta Red well received?
What's really interesting about that is that it was super negatively received as a general consensus compared to Carti's previous works when it dropped, but then it's grown on everyone over time. And I feel like this kind of has the same thing where it's like, this will click when it clicks, and then it'll be awesome once it clicks.
Wow, Playboi Carti's Whole Lotta Red has 1,100s.
That's a lot, but like, that's the thing. When this stuff works for you and it starts just like doing it right, dude, it's like perfect in sound. I think as far as recent stuff goes, the most comparable thing is Yeat's album.
That's what I compared it to.
Yeah, and that's grown on you as well. Rage just kind of does this.
It's taking its time.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting hit over the head with some like super abrasive synths, just like a simplistic but very raw delivery, if you know what I mean. There's just like something super energetic, but at the same time overly simplistic about the regular Rage aesthetic and style, I guess. That it's something that it just takes a while to click. And then you pair that with the fact that this is a Blade album and it's got that like Drain Gang sound mixed in. There's a lot to get used to. You know what I'm saying?
For real. I do want to note though, for Blade, I've only ever heard the Ice Dancer mixtape, Psychos, and then Cold Visions.
Gotcha.
And out of the three, this is my favorite by a lot.
Yeah? I'm glad to hear.
My score doesn't reflect that because they're all within 5 points of each other, but this one just has the most room to grow on me, I believe.
I would say the same. There's a lot of tracks, so there's a ton to actually digest with it as well.
I've actually been like listening to this the whole week, so I figured it would take the whole week.
Yeah, it's quite lengthy, and there's a lot of songs here. So, I mean, shit.
I really like this album. I slapped an 80 on it.
Yeah, well, we'll get into scores when we get into scores. How about them apples?
Oh, you have more to say, you sick fuck?
Yeah, what's some best tracks on here?
My notable mentions are all the ones with Young Lean and Ty Boy Digital on them.
Oh, dude, yeah, totally.
And Echo 2K. Any track when there's more members on it were my favorites.
I agree.
I didn't give this the review I wanted to because I didn't have time to go through all 30 tracks.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I have been living with this album on.
Skrillex is here. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, Skrillex here is crazy.
I just completely missed that. He's hiding on track 13.
Yeah, I don't know if his feature is now listed on streaming. It wasn't for a little while, but he's just producing that track. Naturally, he doesn't do anything vocally, so he might not be listed.
Yeah, he's listed on streaming.
Okay. I believe he wasn't initially with this whole thing, but that beat's pretty crazy. Skrillex is really leaning into the sound here. I appreciate the fact that track is not a huge departure from the rest, because that one fits in quite nicely, but you can still tell with those like synths and the way that it's approached is still very Skrillex in nature. It's their second collaboration, and I think it goes over smoother than the other ones, honestly, even though I really liked one of the two previous collaborations on that previous Skrillex album. That was wordy, but I think you got what I'm saying.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I got what you're saying. Really quick, I do want to point out a user review that I just read by Dilatron0712. He gave it a 38, and he said, "I will not be drained. I will remain full and succulent at all costs."
I'm looking at the same one. Bro, you gotta give in at some point, man. You gotta let it click. It's pure euphoria. It's drugs, man. This music is drugs.
I'm saying given, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of the Black Cray and or Sick Boy Rari, whatever alias he's using? I guess it's Sick Boy Rari here, feature on here.
I think I fucked that one pretty heavy. It's just so many fucking tracks.
Yeah, there's so many. It is really hard.
Oh yeah, this was one of my favorites.
Yeah. His verse on there is super sick. I think that he's really floating over this style of production. Yeah.
I would have to say that the other side was one of my favorite tracks. I also really liked King Nothing.
Yes.
And I really, really like Wad Rainer as well.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. I Don't Like People is the anthem right now. Love that song. That's probably my favorite of the ones that Young Lean is on, and maybe my favorite track in general. Using that track, we could talk about some of the lyricism here too, and just kind of the nihilistic energy of it.
I'm drunk on NyQuil, waiting to kill.
Yeah, man. Were you picking up some crazy lines throughout here? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I was. One I want to point out is, man, fuck being depressed. Asbestos.
No, that one hits me every time. I'm like, what? Just saying asbestos. Just I don't know, man. Go to McDonald's, order the sad meal, bro. What?
Oh my god, here I'm going to write down track.
So great.
I'm on Red Cross. Chandelier on my wrist is kind of hard.
Yeah, that does go hard.
Yeah, okay, these are all just all hard.
Yeah, dude.
Backpack on like I'm Dora.
Yeah, I think that's actually another one that I specifically wrote down at some point in my mass amounts of notes that I have on this album, because again, 30 tracks, and I have something to say about all of them if I really wanted to. Have you asking for an Advil is very funny to me.
D9 trust funded Ice Carrots Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, the Bugs Bunny bar. Oh my god, it's crazy. Flexing and Finessing is one of my least favorites in how it sounds, but it's made up for so well in the lyrics of it as well. Just because he's laying down such ridiculous bars on here. Like, I don't think it exactly opens on the line, but very close to opens on, I ain't talking about an Excel sheet, that line in there.
It's Excel in everything. I ain't talking about an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
Is at 15 seconds.
It's insane.
I'm violently drug abusing weed.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and his vocal inflections on that track too. Like, what is he doing? What is he doing, man? He's so dynamic on this one, which is so rare for Blade and such a nice thing to see.
Oh, I lost the bar, but I was like, I wipe my nose.
Blade spinning like a blender is so great.
I wipe my nose. It's all I know.
Yeah, man. This is the most energetic that I think I've ever heard him. And it's so crazy because he's saying like the most depressed and edgy shit that I think he's ever said. And I really appreciate the fact that there was actually some like legitimate introspection and a lot of emotion put in as well. There's so much to say about this. They really didn't approach this with any specific like barriers in mind, if you know what I mean. Like, you just suddenly get people just like screaming. There's just samples of like people being murdered, it sounds like, at random points. Or
yeah, that fucking scared the shit out of me. I didn't note down those tracks, but those scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, man. It's unhinged what samples and like beat tags and stuff they're using on here. So wild, man.
Wake Up Filthy.
Yeah, no, Filthy actually doing most of the production on here. I think it was mostly split between Filthy and White Armor, and White Armor is kind of typical for Drain Gang, but Filthy did the most on here, and he is a producer that's like worked with Playboi Carti and everything, and it kind of makes this more of a genuine rage album, if you want to look at it that way. They're not like trying to break into this genre just doing Drain Gang members and stuff. It's like you actually got the producers here. It's crazy. Fuck yeah, man. This shit's so awesome. And that's why I gave it a 99%.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
That is a hot take.
It's a little warm. It's a little toasty of a take.
Not the full 10?
I don't No, I keep going back and forth with myself on this because part of me's like, okay, look, this is ridiculous, and giving it a perfect score is also ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like then I'm like, okay, but there was like actually a fair bit of emotion poured into this, and is it not just exactly my taste? Is this not exactly what I've been looking for?
I think you settling on a 99 is like, okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah, and the other thing about it though too is like when I have this on in the car, dude, it's perfect. The vibe is immaculate. You know, you notice some like changes in the dynamics of everything, but you can put this on for an hour and just vibe out to it, and it is pure euphoria, man. God damn.
Speaking of euphoria,
You are so right. You are so right. I wanted to put this at the beginning of the episode, and I was not thinking about it. We should make mention of the Kendrick diss track.
Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk.
yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I only watched Santana talk about it, so I'm listening to it right now. But we'll talk about it while I'm listening to it,
Okay.
because I know all the things to talk about it.
Okay, like you've seen like the bars.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the millions of disses.
Yeah. I forgot to kind of like remind you as well to go ahead and check this one out. We just briefly mentioned it in passing a little earlier. You're probably hearing what I would assume is what you would consider a great sounding track as well. Am I correct in that?
This fucks so far.
Have you gotten to like the beat switch part of it?
I just got there.
Nice. Yeah.
He's singing Shoe right now, NB.
Yeah. As you'll see shortly here, the rapping on it is actually pretty fucking insane, as I guess you would expect from Kendrick. Like, he actually went in wanting to make a great song with this.
It's crunchy.
It's crunchy.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. No, it sounds so nice. We could sit here and probably pick apart the bars all day.
I just want to briefly mention it.
Yeah, God, dude, there's so many crazy ones that, like, I'm not reading off lyrics right now. I'm just, like, recalling off the top of my dome here. The 1v20 line in there, because Drake was saying, like, oh, it's like a 1v20 against me now or whatever, because multiple people were dissing him. And then he talks about Drake having 20 ghostwriters, so it's really 20v1. That was a great one in there. And then you had like the sexy red mention in there.
The one bar that I didn't understand is it's 3 goats left and I see 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage.
So that would refer to the fact that the way this all started is Drake and J. Cole were saying that they're part of the top 3 with Kendrick, and then Kendrick saying,
okay, it's reference,
you know,
yeah.
Essentially that's the way the beef started, is that Kendrick was saying that he's on a higher level than them, essentially. And then there are instances where Drake and J. Cole have been like hugging on stage and stuff, and like being all buddy, and he's trying to make it more competitive, I guess, is what is meant by that line, I think. Yeah.
I don't take it as a homophobic bar that it could potentially be perceived as.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look back on his last album, having a song like Anti-Diaries on there kind of makes it look a lot better in his light. Like, if he was subtly homophobic before, and you could take that as something subtly homophobic, then I don't really think that it's in his nature, but whatever you want to say as far as that goes. I liked that he didn't just outwardly come at him with the very sketchy allegations that Drake has been known to have or be rumored to have over the course of his career, because naturally that was going to be a talking point, but the fact that it's a little buried in there in super clever ways was a great thing for him to do, I think, and a very aggressive way to do it more subtly. But it kind of cuts deeper the way that he's phrasing things on here, not so like outwardly.
Yeah, this one definitely has Drake's ghostwriter sweating.
Yeah, it really does, man. It's a super great track, and I think it's the best track that we've gotten out of this beef so far, even including Like That, because Like That's fantastic, but I mean this is something else, man. It's insanely good.
So good.
And the thing is, like, Drake came through with a pretty solid track, and it was pretty impressive to everyone. Again, you know, you can be, oh, he's got ghostwriters, whatever. If we are going to assume that Drake is just writing this stuff, he did something pretty incredibly impressive with his track Push-Ups. I think that it was, like, kind of a moment where it's like, oh, shit, he's actually coming with some heat this time around. Okay, come on now. And then I think all it really did was make Kendrick more mad. It was like waving the red
Red flag in front of a bowl.
yeah, the red little like fabric thing, the flag, whatever,
Yeah.
in front of the bowl. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. I think it just made him go harder. I don't know where I see this going from here, or if Drake can even really legitimately respond.
I don't know, man. If he has a lot of ghostwriters, maybe they'll come.
Yeah, right. Maybe he'll
He's got
come
a
through with
team.
something. I don't know if maybe this is where this train stops though, because I want to imagine Drake probably has more stuff that he doesn't want out in the open, and Kendrick has alluded to the fact of knowing some of those things in this very track. So I almost have to wonder if this is just where it stops. And if it does, I mean, hey, this was super entertaining regardless, and kind of just reinforces the fact that Kendrick's the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, honestly.
Have you seen the ranking distribution for this track? For this,
yeah.
this track?
God, dude, it's crazy. It's sitting at like, what, a 95, 94?
Yeah, 95 with 3,815 ratings. It's got 16 Drake stands who gave it a 0 to 9.
Oh, man. Yeah, you really just can't even argue with it. Even if you're on Drake's side, I feel like you have to give this its props. And I feel like I did that vice versa for Drake's, but this is still a far better track than Push-Ups was.
All right, Drake has 13 ghostwriters.
Yeah,
So that's the amount of people gave it a 0.
There we go. Yeah. Mad about being shown up. The title of the track being Euphoria even is super clever, but I don't know how much we want to ramble more about this one song. I feel like we've said quite a lot on it already. Do you have any other thoughts to just kind of close this off on?
I don't think.
You don't think so?
I don't think.
I assume you have finished the track at this point and listened to it all?
Oh yeah, no. I gave it a 95.
You gave it a 95?
Or not 95. I gave it a 100.
You gave it a 100? I'm sitting
Give it
with a
100.
90 just because I feel like it could be like the prelude to an even better one. Because he's not exactly bringing up any dirt that nobody knew. He's just being really vicious with his attacks on Drake's character. You know what I mean? If we look back at the Pusha T diss, Pusha T brought to light the fact that he had a son that he was hiding. I mean,
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So we could see something more crazy down the line here. We'll have to see how it all pans out.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going with a 9. You're going with a 10. Fuck it, dude. We balance out at the score. 95. Boom. Check that shit out.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Justice Hyperdrama.
Yes. Yeah. Long-awaited comeback for Justice. I think their first album in 8 years. I have never dove fully into their discography. I've liked their first album, the Cross album, for quite some time. I can't even say that I've necessarily let it grow on me or gave it the room to like fully appreciate it, but I've always liked that one since I heard it first, probably a few years back. And so I was hyped for this. I think it panned out, and I think this album's already underrated. This is just some shit that sounds good for the sake of sounding good, you know what I mean? And I love an album that does that. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was pretty good, and I was like, this is like a, which I don't really call this. Yeah, it's electronic. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, if we want to just go with like the general.
This is just a solid album. I'm gonna go right out the gates with my score because of the way you said underrated. I did like that Thundercat and Tame Impala was on here. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I figured you would like that.
Let's see how this goes.
Those are two artists that
I gave it a 7.
you gave it a 70?
Gave it a 70.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, talk me down from a high score. How about that? What did you not like about it?
There was nothing I didn't like. Just didn't do it a ton.
No, this sounds so great though. Like it just
Yeah, I like it.
it's so clean, man.
I've also only given it one listen.
Yeah, I don't know if this really needed time to grow on me. I was just more passively listening to it while driving a few times, and my opinion didn't really change on it.
I would have liked it more if I listened to passively while driving.
Yeah, no, it is a great album for that. I don't think my rating would have changed based on the setting that I listened to it in, but I did get a better appreciation for it when giving it a more close and in-depth listen. But I think it's kind of always a matter of like, what's here? I'm super appreciating it. Like, dude, this stuff just sounds fantastic.
I'm seeing a lot of Daft Punk comparison, and I would also draw comparisons there. And that also, like, Daft Punk was pretty good. Wasn't huge on it. It was fine. This is pretty good. I'm not huge on it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting comparison, and I have seen it tossed around as well. This is like Daft Punk, but I like it. And that's that might catch me some flack if people are noticing what I'm saying right now, but dude, honestly, I've just always been underwhelmed with Daft Punk, and this does have a very similar vibe. Both are like French house albums, so you're in the same world very strongly. They're both like...
You don't like any Daft Punk projects?
No, I do, okay? Like,
okay.
Hear me out, okay? It's just more catered to my taste, because Daft Punk also sounds super clean, sounds fantastic, but I just get a little bit like, I don't even want to say bored necessarily, but just unenthused when I'm listening to a Daft Punk project sometimes. This kind of kept me on the edge of my seat more, and I feel like it's even more futuristic and intergalactic than Daft Punk is, and I feel like that's what people like about Daft Punk. You know what I mean?
I understand. That's why I just draw comparisons to this again.
Yeah.
This is the same thing for me.
I don't know, man. There's just some really unique moments. Like Moonlight Rendezvous on here, just fitting in this, like, space station elevator music track among all of these, like, really dramatic and dynamic sounding songs is super cool. Like, there's just little moments that I'm like, oh, that's super sick.
My favorite track was definitely The End.
The End, yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah.
That's just because I love Thundercat.
Thundercat's awesome.
But if you put Thundercat on something, I'm probably just gonna like.
I have a really hard time picking favorites, but that is like one of the better tracks on the album for sure.
Play Thundercat around me, I'm just gonna like have a good time no matter what it is he's doing usually.
Yeah, he's a great vocalist, and he's got just like a super chill, awesome little vibe about him. So I also am a fan of Thundercat, not quite as much as you've ever been. I think maybe the same's for Tame Impala. Right? You were a pretty big Tame Impala guy, right?
Oh yeah, in high school, oh my god.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I was gonna say
it was me and the white girls in English class.
For sure, yeah. I love both of the Tame Impala songs on here. I think the opener is definitely better of the two, though.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah. Okay, great. I think that One Night All Night is a little bit more repetitive. The lyrics aren't doing really anything for me as opposed to the other song, which I kind of like the lyrics on. You know, it still sounds super clean and has some nice like bass guitar sections and everything, but it's just not as like epic and angelic and like super well segmented as that opening track. Like that opening track is almost perfect to me, if not perfect. And then Generator following it right afterwards, dude, that shit rips. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, Generator, yeah, Generator's just Daft Punk, bro.
Yeah, no, it does give me those vibes, but it's like somehow edgier. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's something edgy about this album. They're like blasphemy Daft Punk. And that's awesome to me. I also really loved Muscle Memory on here. The way it just sounds like I'm in a fucking spaceship, bro. Fuck yeah. Super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad he likes it more than me because I have a strange feeling that our scores are going to end up evening out to the user score again.
A little bit close to it. I think even then it'll be higher, but
Oh my god.
I don't think you've really changed my mind on it, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even have like a very hot take on it. It's just kind of like, yep, good album is good.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I appreciate everything that it does and how slickly it executes it. It's not super like crazy, nothing blowing my mind, but it just sounds cool. That's where I sit with it. It's nothing too deep, but yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about it? Do you have any like other favorites or least favorites you want to mention?
I did not like the track Harpy Dream.
Harpy Dream, really? Oh yeah, that's just kind of an interlude, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I thought it was a track. It is an
I
interlude.
mean, yeah, it's more like an interlude than a track, but like, I mean, it's listed as one.
Maybe I didn't like Saturine then right after it.
Saturnin, I think is.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't too huge on Saturn.
That would be very weird to me because Miguel sounds fantastic on that song.
It's either that or Muscle Memory because there was a track in here. I fucking wrote down Harpy Dream because I thought that was the track. Oh, fucking.
Well, Muscle Memory and Harpy Dream go together pretty well.
Yeah, it was Muscle Memory that it wasn't too crazy on. It's like my least favorite track.
That one grew on me though. So like maybe if you're kind of early on with it, maybe that one could grow on you. I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to though. I went with an 87 on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that does balance us out in a little bit more of a grounded land here. But yeah, I think this one's pretty awesome. If that was not clear already. I'm really digging this week, dude.
Oh yeah.
Shall we move on, or do you have anything else to say?
Let's move on to St. Vincent, Born Screaming. I had never heard a St. Vincent project before, but it's safe to say my dick was blown clean off.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, I really figured you'd like this. This seems like the pretentious art pop shit we would normally really enjoy.
Hey, that's what I wrote down.
Yeah, it is definitely that. It's very creative, though. I don't think I've heard anything that sounds like this.
Same. I definitely need more time to actually process this album. I listened to it today and I was like, no.
Oh, honestly, dude, like, I have given it a lot of listens. I can't tell you exactly how many. I haven't really been keeping track. A few close listens, like as many as I've been able to get around to doing and having time for. And several background listens, just kind of vibing out with it as well. Yeah, man, I don't think I'm even done processing it at this point. It's super cool, though. This is one where there's a ton to dig into, and there's a lot of, like, strong emotion put in as well.
Yeah, dude, what was the track I wrote down? Flea.
Flea's super cool.
Flea just, like, that's at that point where I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I think I was to a point of whoa with just, like, the second track, really. That one sounds like intensely emotional, and it gets that explosive bit at the end, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like track 4 is when my brain went click. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it sounds so good, man. I feel like every album we've talked about today is kind of this way so far.
I refuse to pick a least favorite track.
No,
very consistent.
It's very hard to pick favorites and least favorites on this one because every song feels very essential to it.
I'm picking Flea as my favorite, and I refuse to elaborate.
That's fair. It's hard to elaborate. Like, this is a difficult one to approach and kind of digest. There's so much here, man. It's so dynamic and so... This feels like it should be a 2-hour album with the amount of variation and complexity and different sound switch ups and everything, but this is all packed into a 40-minute package, and it's such a great experience all the way through.
It is up there for album of the year for me. Like, or in general, I think, not just for me, because I think for me, it's Vampire Weekend's my album of the year right now. It's like, it's touching it.
It's really excellent.
Oh wow! I just realized it's tied with Drawhala, MGMT, and Glass Beach.
It's not that high for me, but it's pretty easily fixating itself in my top 10, I think. And I think it still has room to grow on me. Like I said, this is one where I'm still sitting with it even now. And yeah, like I don't even know how much to say. Other favorite tracks, I guess we could move on to. Do you have some other favorites to pick out?
I picked out a least favorite, and I regret it. It's So Many Planets. But like I'm listening to it right now, and I'm just like, no, never mind, I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that one wasn't one for me, but I think that it
I
does
like it a lot still.
sit in the middle for me.
I guess that's would be the low point, is the middle.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the tracks that I wasn't as crazy about, Big Time Nothing I'm iffy on just because the repetition wasn't really clicking with me, but in the right context it could.
I think I liked that one a lot. Run it through real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the scores are just the fucking same for me. It's just like,
Right, there's...
No, I can understand where you're coming from. I like that one a lot, though.
For sure. Like I said, everything feels pretty integral to the flow of the album. Like I said, you know, you could have like a 2-hour album out of this, but
easily
narrowing it down to 10 tracks is like, dude, every piece matters. It doesn't really like tell a story, but it covers a similar palette throughout.
Easily.
Yeah, for sure. I really love the way the Powers Out sounds, and I love the idea of that track and the way that it's executed. There's something super cool about that one that's kind of intangible, and I haven't heard it anywhere else.
Yeah, no, this is definitely very extremely unique album, even just like overall.
Right.
I don't really have any comparisons.
There's no way to ground this to anything else I've heard. Like, I don't think there's much of a point of comparison. And it's also so crazy because this is such a jump in my personal taste from their last album, because I did hear that. I didn't end up scoring it because I was just kind of iffy on it and it wasn't clicking for me fully. That was the Jack Antonoff collaboration, that album.
Ew.
I'm telling you, man, Jack Antonoff has done some great stuff. Even though this year we have just been shitting on him, I swear, he has a good back catalog.
He's just washed.
Lana Del Rey's albums that he's worked on with her too are great.
He just used it all up. Used all his talent up.
He does seem like he's kind of washed, oddly, because I even like the earlier Bleachers projects a lot more than the more recent one.
We hated the most recent one.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not saying much, but there's some old Bleachers stuff that I like. You know, there's some other stuff that he's worked on that I think is excellent, and I don't think that Daddy's Home is bad by any means, but it just wasn't working for me necessarily. And you know his production style now, based on that Taylor album, based on the Bleachers album, you know, like what he's going for, even if that isn't a bad example of it, right? Or is a bad example of it, right? Yeah. That like nostalgic kind of, not quite acoustic, but like slow down and chill sound. And Daddy's Home definitely is an example of that. Their previous album, or her previous album, I guess St. Vincent is a solo act, I do believe. This is better. I think this is pretty objectively better and a lot more creative.
That seems like the scores are a little bit higher too.
The scores do reflect it. I don't think as much as they should. I have heard the self-titled, but this makes me curious to just take a look at all of her albums.
I should, especially the ones with the purple check, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have.
Yeah, there's clearly a lot that's really good in this catalog. I believe Digital Witness is on that self-titled, and that is one of that is like an excellent song. That is one of the songs that I come back to like year after year here, and I do love that one a lot. But other than that, I'm not super well versed in the back catalog here.
Yeah, I've never heard of her before today, actually.
That is crazy. I really feel like this is something you would listen to. So I mean, hey,
it is. It really is.
welcome to a new discography to explore, I suppose, and I will be doing the same. Because I did not know that she had this in her bag at all. Like, this is so comparatively awesome to me. I mean, the artistry here on display is just so cool.
She's on fire. Literally.
I don't know if that's her in the cover. I think so, maybe. I don't know. But
Right.
the cover's awesome. It is very cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Any other talking points we have for this album, or are we ready for scores?
You know, I don't know what to say. other than what we've said.
That's my problem. We should potentially do like a full-length video on this.
Potentially. It is one where you could do that for sure. And I think that this is one where we'll end up revisiting it at the end of the year and being like, this is what our score actually ended up being. I think this is one that'll change.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I went with an 84 on it. What did you end up?
You're lying.
No?
I went with an 84.
Hell yeah. Okay. Sick. We're right on the same page. Awesome. I'm glad that we kind of came to the same consensus for slightly different reasons.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's super cool. Well, I guess that means we can move on to our last album for the week.
Full of Hell, Coagulated Bliss.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
What is happening on this album cover? What is that? Dove is getting just like obliterated by Lorac or Angel.
It is so confusing to me. God, I like it. I think it messes with my head.
There's just a random triangle, random pyramid.
Like, it's like a road, but it looks like a bathroom. And then there's trees. What the fuck is happening, man?
Where do you see the? I see the trees.
Yeah, there's trees in the back.
Whoa.
What?
This is
And then, like, is this a person getting obliterated in the
no.
forefront?
It's a bird getting a. Oh wait. Oh.
You can see like an
I don't know.
arm in there
Yeah.
someplace.
Anyways, this is one of the better grindcore albums in general, just because the competition is not very stiff.
I don't know about that. I mean, we listened to Meth earlier this year. Like, the competition's kind of stiff.
Are they grindcore?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is one of the better metal albums we've listened to this year, though.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying like this new era of metal where they're like actually doing things versus just like not doing things.
And there's like a million metal albums that have came out this year that either we just weren't aware of or didn't bother touching on that were kind of that same copy paste. But Full of Hell is they're kind of innovators and they switch it up. And they definitely were switching it up on this project.
Even albums that we haven't talked about on the podcast, I've just been noticing more and more of this new style of metal, and I'm just like, fuck yeah.
It's excellent, man. I feel like maybe we're just getting some younger and more creative people in the field. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't exactly done the data or anything, but yeah, it does seem like we're finally at a point where people are more willing to innovate. You know, I have not heard every Full of Hell project, but I have been a fan of everything I have heard. Garden of Burning Apparitions, I believe, is the last one to release that I heard, and that was very far on a different spectrum than this, because that was basically a noise album. Like, they just went full super duper hardcore on that one, and this one's weird. What do you think of the sound here?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I was a fan. I was like, oh fuck yeah. I'm listening to fucking St. Vincent. I'm like
just gonna have a fucking moment of transcendence during the podcast.
Yeah, I was. That's why I stopped like having coherent thoughts. I had to turn on the fucking Full of Hell album.
That's great.
I really. What'd you say? I just really forgot what you said.
I was mostly just kind of asking you how you're feeling about the sound here and like what they're doing in
really
general.
Liked it. I was just happy that more bands are mixing good.
Oh yeah,
More metal bands.
This one does sound super sick, especially for how harsh a lot of it is. You can only mix vocals like this so well. The higher pitched stuff on here, I mean, is like kind of just stabbing you in the eardrums, the style of vocals. But it's a style I still love. Like, I got love for that style for sure.
Now this album may not have blown my dick clean off. My penis was in danger.
No, I feel that. I don't know if this is all the way there, and I think that they can elaborate on it. The way they brought in, like, rock riffs into this grindcore space. Do you know what I'm saying with that? Like, it's kind of got a bright sound to it.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's a cool fusion of things. And then there's songs on here that are just sludge metal, like stoner metal vibes as well. You got like the centerpiece of the album, I want to say, with Bleeding Horizon being one of those.
Bleeding Horizons. Yes, that one was fucking. My favorite was Malformed Liturgy is what I want to say. What's it called? Yeah, the ligature.
Yeah,
Ligature.
we're getting the weirdly scientific, gory lyrics all over this as well. Like
Prostatic fluid asphyxiation.
yeah, really bringing it back with that like super wordy style of like disgusting imagery. I do love
God,
that.
you remember Jared Dines?
Yeah.
Remember that whole era?
Oh yeah,
This
man.
makes me feel so much nostalgia for just like the fun era of metal in like 2000 fucking 18 and shit. Like not
Yeah,
2018, 2016 with the fucking gent boys.
yeah. And if we're kind of looking at it that way, this feels like a logical progression of that thing, that
Yeah.
era, you know?
And I'm happy for it.
Dude, totally, yeah. This album also just like I do have gripes with it, mostly just in that like you have that centerpiece and then everything else is just kind of revolving around it, and you do get some kind of whatever tracks in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly they could delete what's it called? Fractured Bonds to Mecca.
Let me see. Actually,
Just
I totally disagree. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was
Oh, no.
one of two that were like the sludge metal vibes, and those ended up being my favorite, despite them being a little less innovative. I just think they sound super sick.
you haven't listened to enough slam and sludge metal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know. Like I said, they aren't some of the more innovative ones for sure, but like they're super cool. Like they're just
Dude, I understand.
yeah.
I didn't hate those tracks, but I'm like, they could just be a single. It's fine.
Yeah, but like you get into like Vaccious, I want to say it's that word, Dose, Vomiting Glass. Those ones are just like they're super quick and don't really go anywhere. I don't know.
Vacious.
Yeah, man. These words are too big for my dumb brain, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I cannot.
I liked Vacious. I like Dose. Vomiting Glass one. I was like, kind of whatever on it. It was less than a minute long. It wasn't even a track.
I guess that's kind of the vibes for like grindcore and this super heavy blend of stuff. You end up with that, but
Oh, and then Bleeding Horizon coming out here at 6 minutes.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like everything's revolving
Yeah.
around that one big piece in the middle, and then kind of that ending one you mentioned as well. So that song sounds super cool, and I love the slowed down, heavier approach that it has again as well. And it does really show like the dynamics of the project, like the two sides of the project, where you have this brighter sound and this kind of sludge metal sound. It does both. But in the process, I think it ended up being a little messy.
This is one of the rare moments too where like I don't feel like a lot of the critic scores were fucking insane.
Yeah.
Distorted Sound gave it a 90, which is kind of crazy. But like Metal Sucks gave it an 80. Metal Hammer gave it an 8. Like everyone gave it an 80, and Sputnik gave it a 76. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? They're kind of on the right track. I'm feeling
Yeah.
a little weaker. Do we want to go on to scores right away?
Sure. Because I'm feeling a little weaker than the 80s, but I'm feeling a little better than Sputnik. I'll give it a 78.
You gave it a 78. I went with a 74 because, again, I just don't think this is all the way there yet.
And honestly, that's a lot of the scores range from our scores.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
Yeah. Like we're right on the money.
I think everybody's kind of in agreement here that this is cool. Like, they're just doing something interesting with this.
For Eagles.
Fuck yeah, to Full of Hell, just in general. Like, this band is awesome. Totally. Well, do you have any other thoughts on that, or should we just move on to our final portion? Well, okay then. So, I assume that means I should move on to the rankings for the week. Big shout out again to Maruja. They won't end up on the rankings just because it's not an actual album, it's an EP. But that was our consensus favorite this week. It's an almost perfect EP and super interesting. Again, huge shout out to them.
For real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Then actually ranking our stuff. Unfortunately, Full of Hell is the bottom for the week, only by a little bit, and I don't think it's really deservingly so. We just have such a stacked week this time around that, like, everything's awesome, so it comes in 4th place. But then Justice's Hyperdrama, their long-awaited follow-up, coming in 3rd place, 78.5%. And St. Vincent's All Born Screaming at an 84% for our 3rd place pick. I think that one has some room to grow as well, so who knows? It could average out higher by the end of the year when we come back to this.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah, definitely. And then top of the week, being heavily dragged up by my quite possibly unreasonable score, Blade Cold Visions at an 89.5, 30 for 30 at age 30. Blade coming at us with something awesome, man. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Great episode.
Fuck yeah.
We're super hype on everything that we reviewed this week, I think. Well, you a little less so on a couple things, but
just Justice.
Yeah. I guess you're less hype on Justice than I am. But
it's all green, though.
Yeah, for sure. We really didn't get any mid this time around, and it's all just, like, super exciting stuff. And then, like, throughout the course of the next month, we got some other super highly anticipated stuff as well. May is going to be a crazy month. So do stay tuned. I know we got Dua Lipa next week. People are loving that album so far. It's come out in some parts of the world, I believe, and people are liking it a lot. That should be interesting to take a look at. I'm not sure where it's going to end up, of course, but we have that coming up. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you know when those videos do come out. Got other music-related content coming your way as well. And it would be greatly appreciated if you drop a like on the video and share it around so that other people can see it. We appreciate the hell out of all of that. Micah, do you have anything else to say to the people before we head on out of here?
You can take the juice out of the pickle, but you can't take the pickle out of the juice.
That's pretty wholesome. And we'll see you next time.